corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns, your post-game show. We're coming off, for the first time in 2 weeks, we're coming off a victory to join this show. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn and my brother Teja Dash. Guys, 27-17 win. Pretty clean game as far as penalties. You know, that's been the kind of the hot topic the last few weeks, penalties, and we only had 2 in this game. So, hey, progression right there. We're moving in a forward area. I will say, we'll get into it, but the one penalty they called on us was kind of a BS call. JDU kind of called it out on Twitter as well. But what did you guys think of this one? 27-17 over New England, pretty much a shutout in the second half of the game outside of the interception that led to the touchdown. But what did you guys think? What were your takeaways for this one?
The takeaways from this game was we still are making mistakes that we don't need to be making, still turnovers that we don't need to be making. On offense, defensively, we played a hell of a game, tremendous game, and we dominated them. Like I said, we should have dominated them. Probably should have blown this team out by at least. You should have about 45 points easy on this team. Eliminate the penalties, eliminate the turnovers, and that's what you would have seen. And so it's kind of in this victory. You still see some of the things that are glaring to us while we that are disappointing. Put it this way, I'll just be honest. Some of the things that you've seen is like, what is going on? What are we doing? And so other than that, it was a good win. We knew we was going to beat this team. We knew that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, CH, hell of a game by him. Love to see this. Love to see this. And that exactly what I wanted to see from him today. He did it, and even more. So he looked good. He looked really good. So hats off on him on the offensive side of the ball. I think he was really to me, our one lone bright spot was CEH. Okay. And so it was good. It was good from him.
Yeah, and the fact that we talked about this week, how it seemed like they were starting to utilize him in that Brian Westbrook type of way last week, and a little bit. I mean, they didn't give him that many touches today, but hey, we were actually utilizing him out of the backfield. Had that amazing catch in the end zone. I mean, that's why he was supposed to be a highly touted guy coming out of college, because he could catch out of the backfield. And year 4, we're finally using it, baby. Teja, what were your initial takeaways from this one?
I'm actually going to go a little other way on this one, JD. I think the lack of Pacheco is hurting us really badly. Amazing catch by CEH, amazing catch. But if you take away that 20-yard run, he's run for 23 for 37 the last 2 weeks. He doesn't consistently get 4 to 5 yard chunks. He can break away a little bit, but we had so many. So we had, out of our 19 first downs today, we had 15 passing for them. We only had 2 runs for first downs today. Those numbers exponentially go up when Pacheco's on the field. And a lot of those, the reason why is because we had so many third and longs, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 9, because we just weren't getting 4 and 5 yards a chunk. The last quarter, CH actually looked better. He had a few 4 and 5 yard runs that kind of helped us get the third and manageable, which we needed. But in the first half, I mean, luckily we were picking up those 3rd and longs. Otherwise, we would have been in trouble in that first half. I just missed those. I never thought I'd say I miss Pacheco's, not lack of big play, but I just love that he always gets like 4 yards every time. It's not one of those 2 yards for most of the game and like a 40-yard rip that makes his yards per carry look so much better than they really are, but they're really not if you look at it all.
Well, I don't think we was running the football with him, though. That's another thing. Like Pacheco, I think we leaned on him to run the football even more. And I've seen this coming out. We started like at one before when Kadarius Toney drops and fumbles and they take it. We come out and empty.
Yeah,
come out and empty. Like run the football right then. And so I don't think that. And I think because of the personnel, right, when you say, well, we don't have Pacheco, CEH, if he doesn't get the 8 or 10 yards, then we're going to go straight to our passing game. And that's exactly what they did. So they didn't run him like twice consecutively where they would do that with Pacheco. So I think it's just to them personnel-wise, I think they just kind of made a decision not to run him. But I think he's an effective runner. And if you're not going to use him, use McKinnon, right? And so look, you got guys on it. Shoot, we got Daenerys Prince. Didn't he dress out? Was he on the sideline?
I believe so.
Yeah. So, let the young guy get in. If he's going to be your headhunter, if you want to get 2 or 3 yards, run him. Like, I think this is a game right here when Pacheco's out and you're up by 27-10 at one point. Like, let him get a couple of looks to see what he can do. I mean, that, at least for me, just to see what you can get in a guy like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know he's playing, special teams, but, if you're looking for that tough runner and you're thinking, well, we can't run it, the 4-minute offense. Remember, I was telling you about the 4-minute offense. If you're not thinking that CH is a guy, then put a guy in that is kind of like the guy that will put his nose in and get you the tough yards.
Yeah. The old Spencer Ware rule.
Yeah, exactly.
Put your head down and get 4. I don't want you to break one. Just give me 4, man. Give me a 3rd and 6.
Hey, man, what we're trying to do is we're trying to run the clock out, right? We're trying to eat at the clock at this moment. And not coming out and empty and throw the football and get an interception for what they did. And all of a sudden, here they go get a daggone touchdown for it. So we put our defense, the points they scored was because we put them in that position, gave them great field position to score. That's what our offense did.
Oh, yeah. Great catch, though. One of the better catches I've seen from a player in a long time, from our team at least, from receiver, running back, like outside of Kelsey. Amazing catch on that. That was like a Moss type play, and that was great to see him do that. Great game in the air, period. 4 for 64 off 4 targets, caught all 4 of them. Broke away the one down the sidelines. Broke a tackle on that play too. It wasn't just like wide open. It was wide open, but he also broke a tackle. But yeah, my complaint as an overall as a player, it was just on the ground because again, take away that 20-yard rush, he runs for 12 for 17. That's rough, man. That's a rough game. But he made it for it on the air. So as long as he's contributing in some form or fashion, that's fine. It's not like McKinnon came in and tore it up. McKinnon ran 4 for 11. So Patriots have a good run defense. They have a good defense period. We talked about this in the betting show. Right. They've been like giving up like 8 the last couple games or like 10 or whatever. So like they're a really, really good defense.
And we were decent up front. We were decent up from O-line. We gave some sacks up, which we shouldn't have. We got a lot of pressures. Like you said, they got a good D-line up front, and they showed it. And they handled Trey. Trey was, a couple times he got, bull rushed and got thrown to the side. Jawan Taylor toward the end. Wanye Morris on the outside, same thing. Slow feet, bad hands, not anchoring like they should, and it showed. And so I think we gave Patrick was under duress more times than we thought he was going to be in this game, and he shouldn't have been.
Christian Barmore's a beast, man. The Alabama, cool man. Yeah. I didn't, I didn't realize your game. I didn't know your game till now. type moment for me. He was. I haven't seen Trey Smith get thrown around like that in a game before. And he did that. And I think he had a sack in the game. He was in our backfield a lot.
Yeah, he was. It's not good.
So, so obviously, we talk about some of the some of the mishaps we had on offense. Obviously, the thing that's glaring, Kadarius Toney on the betting show, if you guys watched it, I thought he was going to have such a big game this week. He had 2 catches, which he covered that bet, but he didn't cover his over 14 or over 25 yards, which I had it at, but the regular line was 14.5. He had 5 yards. He had 2 drops. One, I don't think was his fault, but the other one was the drop that turned into an interception. I'm seeing people online and some people in the chat here saying at the time we talked about KT being benched. Honestly, I don't think you can't really bench him because he doesn't really get that many reps anyways. I'm watching the game and like he's coming in and it's like he's not getting that many snaps. So it's like we're going to bench him. And then also talk about the mishaps. You got the drops there. Then you got the fumble from Sky Moore. And then you also have another repeat of a fumble with Rashod Rice. Luckily, he got his fumble back. He retained possession of the ball. And the Sky Moore one didn't count. But, JD, when you see things like that, and obviously Pat's getting frustrated. You know, he's been Mr. Nice Guy for a while. We see him come back to the bench after the Toney when the interception happened. I don't know what he said, but they showed it. But he was really pissed off. It seems like he can't really trust anybody out there besides Rashod Rice and Kelsey. It's becoming it's not those 2 guys. You know, it seems like he's reluctant to throw the ball in certain directions. What are you seeing?
You know, I know commentators make that all the time about trust and trust and trust. And I mean, at this point, he has no choice but to, you know, if guys open, throw the football to him. You got to trust them. You have to. It's frustrating when you see things happen when they are dropping the football. Or they are fumbling. Like Rashod Rice got to hold on to the football, man. This is week in and week out. And I said it's going to cost us because he's just a little loose with the football when he gets around in traffic. You know, same thing with Sky Moore, you know, got hit and dropped his. Patrick came straight over to him like, hey, man, you got to hold on to the football. You got to do that, right? And so that was good for Patrick to come to him immediately, let him know, like, hey, we can't have you dropping the football anytime during a game. You can't. Same thing, Kadarius Toney. And this is what got me. It wasn't even just the drops in itself. This sucker almost lined up all sides again.
I know.
And I'm sitting over here and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, you didn't, oh my gosh. Like, you didn't try to correct this to the point to saying, like, I got to know I'm on sides. I have to. And matter of fact, when he came off, I think the referee said something like, look, man, hey, Andy, what do you want to do? He's almost all sides again. We give you the grace. You wanted the warning. We're giving you the warning right now. And Andy said something to him, and you could see Andy was still pissed off. Like, man, what the hell?
What's it going to take?
Yeah.
What's going
on? And I'm going crazy on the. I'm like, what is, dude? Like, come on, Darius. Seriously, like there's no need for that. And then after that, then you know the fumble. Or the drop pass and it goes off, and that's what Patrick's like, man, this right here makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense. So I just that's frustrating. It's frustrating in itself to watch. And I know how frustrating it is in the locker room. And so you could tell, like, just like little things like that kind of affect like the overall, you know, feel and emotion of games. Like even Kelsey, I think Kelsey said something to Patrick, like, you know, calm down. Like we understand, we know. And I guess they got to hype each other up. Like, man, look, this is the pains we got to go through. We have to do that. But man, you hate to see things like that happen. You know, you do.
So obviously we talk about the drops and the fumble, but let's talk about some of the good stuff. We talk about CEH being the bright spot and positive spot on offense. But how about that defense, man? I mean, for that first half, Bailey Zappi, I mean, they were kind of getting us on the crossing routes, JD, a lot of the underneath routes. They were kind of having their way with that. Hunter Henry looked phenomenal in that first half of the game. But what happened? We tightened up second half. They didn't do anything in that second half. I think there's at one point we had more points than they had yards in the second half of the game, or some ridiculous stat the commentators mentioned. But obviously, defense has been our side of the ball this entire season, and they continue to step up. Yes, it's the Patriots, but it was in Foxborough, not an easy place to play. But they play their asses off, specifically the second half. JD, what stood out to you? Also, I got to say, Derek Nottie, a guy that you and I have been, I don't know, kind of up and down on his entire career. He looked phenomenal today. I think it might have been his best day as a pro. That's just what I saw out there. What did you think about the defense and our guy Derek Nottie?
Now they came in, man. He had put some hands on the balls, and he was coming. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do when you got one-on-one. Chris is getting double teamed. You got to show up. You have to show up. So hats off to him, man, for coming in and making some plays, because that's what you had to do. You got to make sure your presence is felt. But defensively, second half, I think we just kind of tightened everything up, to be honest with you. And so we knew they'll try to exploit maybe what it may not be our strongest suit is covering the tight end, right? Our safeties and running against our linebackers. Hunter Henry's a very talented tight end, and Zappe knows that's the guy to go to. But I think we did a good job just kind of getting after the quarterback a little bit more. And actually for my 4th down, because at the very first of the when I was looking at it, we was running man. I'm like, well, shoot, our 4 got to hit home. We got to cause some pressure. We weren't really getting any pressure. We just wasn't. And so we had to generate some of that just to get it on Zappe, because we was running man to man and guys were getting open. So I think we did a much better job second half of just creating that pressure just from the 4 down.
Teja, your thoughts on the defense? Any defensive takeaways that you noticed today?
Dude, 4 sacks, 7 tackles for losses, 6 QB hits. If Amenahue played a full season, we'd probably have 3 guys with double-digit sacks this year. He's going to end up with 4.5 after this game. I'm not sure Karlaftis had one. Did Karlaftis have one?
He got maybe a half one with
he's a 9.5 if he had that. Chris Jones at 7.5. I'm not sure if he had. I don't remember if he had one today.
He was getting held like
yeah.
So he was getting held like a. There was one play where it was when he like dapped up Zappe, but they showed the replay of it. He's getting hooked, JD, by both guys.
Man, it was unreal. It's unreal. They're gonna do it every week. And if I was Chris, I would go to the refs like, listen, man, they are holding me every single play. Every single play. So yeah, it's blatantly the way that they hold Chris. It's blatant. It's blatant.
So many you had one. Jones and Karlaftis did not. That one that was close. That one that was close went to Noddy. I think Noddy got that.
Did it?
And then Tranquil, they gave him one too that he got there before everyone else.
Yep.
But still, he'll have 4.5. Dana at 6.5. Jones at 7.5. Karlaftis at 9. Yeah, we're gonna have probably 4 guys. We would have 4 guys with definitely over like 7 or 8. We're going to have 3, maybe with a chance of 10 if they have good games the rest of the way out. Just awesome. The first half, we gave up a little too much, especially to Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry looked like Kelsey out there. But we tightened it up, man. Steve was all over it. We were even saying when we were watching, we were like, okay, they're just doing like 3-step drops and the quick passes every single time. Like he's not looking downfield.
Cross is reading this a lot.
I'm not sure if he went downfield. Did he even like do a typical like just throw it down there just to keep a defense honest? I don't remember him going downfield once.
Once it was it was underthrown balls. One Devontae Parker caught. Sneed wasn't playing the was playing the ball, but that was it.
That's it though. If they can go back, I would have gone a little deeper just at least keep us honest, because otherwise we're like, okay, well, we know what they're doing now, so we can just adjust and kill them on that. So, but yeah, another stout performance. If it really should have been 27-10, but I'll take it.
Special teams wise, I know we sometimes talk about special teams when it's kind of a glaring thing. Richie James, bright spot. He's looking great. They're finally giving him alleys and lanes to kind of to do some things on punt return. But one thing that stood out to me, JD, our kick return coverage is kind of rough today. I know that they won it right out the gate. They call it back because of a holding or blocking the back or something. But it was kind of consistent that Jalen Reagor was taken out of the end zone and he was getting past the 25. I'm like, whoa. That's. What did you notice? We didn't get the all 22 view, but what did you notice on kick return coverage?
Yeah, to me, when I'm looking at guys on different levels, it's telling me maybe even some guys might be giving up, getting around their blocks to get down and cover in their lanes. Is probably the problem. And so when I was seeing it, I'm just like, he's getting way too many yards, and that it usually means that somebody's not doing their job on the coverage. And so I don't know what it is. And to be honest with you, when you talk about lane assignment, it's all about discipline. You got to be disciplined in your lane assignment, and also too when you're talking about relationship to where the runner is, you got to keep it on your inside because that's where your help is. So I don't know what was going on, and not like you said, all 22 would show you a little bit more, but you would hope to see guys down there on the same level. When they're not down on the same level, then it's like, okay, who do you have in his position that's doing this, that's doing the covering. So, but I do like Richie James when you were talking about him, man. And sometimes what he'll do is he'll create. He'll make guys miss. That's what I love about him, because he's making guys miss too to get a couple of extra yards. And it doesn't seem like he's, just kind of like loose with the football either, So I like it because he's just getting positive yards, man. We just wasn't having that. We didn't have that guy first of the season, Yeah, we try to give it to McCole Harbin, and McCole's, try to do too much. So,
yeah.
And James looks good on offense too. I think he had that one catch, but I think we may start to see him a little bit more. I don't know what they're going to do as far as the personnel groupings, but it seems like they haven't found a certain group, and based on the way Pat was pissed off, we may see a shakeup of the personnel groupings. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't to what? Shaking it up to who? What are we shaking it up to? I mean, Marcus, we got what we got now. So we've seen it. We done now the sample size is out the window. Okay. We done seen everybody that is in that room come in some form and fashion that's played. It's got significant amount of plays. So now the shakeup, it's all about now catching the football. Pure and simple. That's all it is, getting open, and Pat
holding on to the football.
Hold on to the football, getting open and finding those windows. And, the one Pat threw behind Kadarius Toney was behind it. That's on Pat. That's on Pat. So, man, they still trying to work these things out. I know I know it's repetitive. We keep saying the same thing. They're working these things out. But daggone, I mean, drops and things like that you could, on focus issues.
Yeah.
You can control the
football, hold the football, catch a football, stand on side of the football.
Yes. Yeah. That's the thing with me. It shouldn't even been close. And I'm sitting there going crazy, and I'm over here texting. There's a whole group of us. I'm like, what is he doing? Why even be close? Why even make it even a point to be there, to question that you're offside or you're not? Why even get the warning? Don't even get the warning, KT. Don't even get it. Don't even get it. So things like that to me is come on now. We got to do better.
Unless we bring in Ertz.
Yeah.
Are we desperate enough is the question.
Well, I tell you what, Noah Gray caught that one, which was beautiful. It's a good, beautiful job getting open. I don't know what Ertz will be able to give us. That's the thing about it. I mean, like I said, they talking about Kelsey's getting slower. Ertz, I said, he done lost 3 or 4 different steps.
Yeah.
So he ain't gonna stretch the defense. You need a guy to stretch the defense. We threw one deep one to Justin Watson. Justin couldn't get open. The dude was just running with Justin like he was trotting with him. So I was like, this ain't gonna be it. This can't be it.
When I say bring on Ertz, I mean just one more guy that Mahomes doesn't cross his fingers with his left hand every time he throws the ball. Because I feel like when you're throwing to Sky Moore hasn't touched the field, he gets on there and he fumbles his first ball, which I want to ask you about. When the he comes in, he's a pretty high draft pick, and his stock just slowly just plummets. When you finally get on the field, you catch that ball, man, to fumble that ball for the first time you've touched the ball in significantly in weeks. Yeah. I mean, is his confidence just shot? It must just be shot, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. And the thing is, because he's probably pressing not to drop the ball, do everything right. He doesn't want to make a mistake, and when it comes on, it's just amplified even more. And so you don't want to. You try to pull a guy like that, you pull him back from the ledge and get him out of the tank. Hey man, and that's where Patrick came to him. Look, man, we just need that ball. You can't drop that football. And so you're giving him confidence, but also too you're giving him constructive criticism while you're doing it. And so that's why I said I don't think it helps for Patrick to come in and dog cuss guys. Okay. He's been a guy that has been somewhat of the big brother that's been kind of the saving grace to be able to talk to, get things off their chest. And it's good that they could trust Pat in doing those things, right? So you don't want to be the guy you have all this confidence in Patrick Mahomes. The last thing you want to do is for him to cuss you out, right? Because now everybody else has been on you. Now if Patrick, your one friend on offense who has been, keeping you up is he's the one dog cussing you now, you're gonna be in an even worse way. Pat knows he needs these guys.
Mm-hmm.
He had no choice now, Teja.
I know.
Like, hey, man, we got what we got. That's all I can say, man. We got what we got. But I do like Richie James. I think Richie James is a solid guy that you can depend on. I think Pat knows that. I think the offensive coaches know that too. That's why he's getting more playing time. So I like to see him in the game more. I do. We said this about Kadarius Toney, man, but man.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go to him the first play coming after that one. I thought they were going to go back to him, like kind of what we did with Rice last week with the fumble. They didn't go right back to him.
Yeah, they did. They did right back to the bench. Come sit right beside me. They wouldn't came right back to him.
Let me ask you a question. If Sky Moore was like a 5th or 6th round pick, would he either be on the practice squad or just never seen the field the rest of the season?
No. I think Sky's he's a project. I think he's a guy that you had to develop. I think they see good things in Sky. They've seen it at the beginning of the season, and I think they see it in season in practice, and they don't understand why everything's not translating over to the game. I believe that's part of the problem. Okay, and I know they're figuring out like, okay, look, we know we got to get him some looks, a couple steps here and there, but we just don't want to do him in. That's the same thing with MVS. MVS caught one today. So they don't just want to do him in. They got to try to incorporate him some way into what they're doing offensively, right? So even if he's getting 5 snaps or 8, it's something. You just don't want to take everything away from him, especially if the guys that are in front of him that are getting the snaps are not getting the job done either. That's the problem. That's the problem.
That is the problem. Yeah. Well, that's the we have nowhere to go problem.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to give a shout out to one of the guys who we can trust, and it's Rashod Rice, who broke the rookie receiving record for the Chiefs after scoring his 7th touchdown of the season. I mean, Teja, you were on this guy back pre-draft coverage. You loved what you saw from this kid coming out of SMU. A lot of people were kind of, mixed bag on Rashod Rice, but I don't think there's a mixed bag on it anymore. He's shown who he is, and he's legit. I mean, I think he had 9 for 91 today. What were his stat line? Almost 100 yards. I think he's getting close. If he averages like 90 or 70 to 90 yards for the next 3 games, I think he could get 1,000 yards for his rookie campaign, which would be fantastic. JD, what are you seeing more and more? We're talking about confidence. A guy whose confidence is growing each week. Obviously, we need to figure out the fumble issue. Luckily, he didn't lose the fumble today. But, each week, he's getting more confident in the offense. He's never leaving the field. I think I barely saw him off the field today. He was on there for pretty much most of the game, which should be the case. When he's not on there, there's an issue. But what did you think of his play today, and what have you seen kind of the growth for the last few weeks from Rashod?
Just, dependable. And it's what I would love to see more is us pushing the ball down the field with him, as opposed to the flats, the slants, the wide receiver screens. But the thing is positive yards. And so when you get positive yards with a guy like him, then you got to love what he's doing. And I love everything that they're doing with him right now. And I just want them to give him even more now, okay? Especially if we're not getting that from the other guys to push the ball down the field. And we've seen in the past that Pat has grown with throwing the back shoulder ball to him. I love to see even more of that. But Rice, without a doubt, is our number 1 wide receiver. He does a great job. My thing is, what I talked about. There's 2 things with him when I look at is protecting the football and sustaining his blocks. I don't know. Did y'all see the lack of blocking from Pickens up there?
Yep.
You see that?
Yep.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And that's what I'm telling you, wide receivers, it's a selfish attitude. The wide receivers just not blocking for other guys. You're not getting the football, you're not going to block. Well, then, buddy, you don't need to be out here.
Yeah.
But I think Rashod Rice gives his attempt. He's doing a good job. He just needs to learn how to sustain those blocks, sustain it. And I think, Marcus, what you were saying, keeping him in the game, is he's got to condition himself to stay in the game. Look, hey, you ain't no rookie no more. After a certain amount of games, you are not a rookie. Yeah. That's the way it works. And so he had 9 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's a hell of a day. It's a hell of a day.
It's he's not playing his bowl games anymore, JD.
No, he's not. That's right. That's for sure. Ain't at SMU anymore. I don't work like this. So
yeah, you're
Teja,
you're our guy now.
Yeah.
Like
You're
the guy now. Yeah, hey, congratulations, you made it, kid.
you made
But
it.
with that, you know, it's one thing if you were dropping one out of every like 5 targets. Okay, tough luck, you're a rookie. But now it's like, okay, you're a guy we're going to 7 to 10 times a game the last like 5 weeks. He's either out targeted or like tied for targets with Kelsey, I think, out of like 4 out of the last 6 weeks. So, I mean, you are like the number 1 receiver on this team. Awesome, congratulations. But you know, it's time to act like it every time you touch. You can't have a bad snap every like 4 snaps for you, for targets for every 4 you. Like you got to do it every single time. But you know what? Bad play. It didn't end up working against us, luckily. But dude, 754 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's got a good shot at getting 1,000. Man, it's gonna that whole Andy Reid doesn't produce rookie receivers. Well, I guess Rice is going to be the first one to do that then.
So this is kind of unique here. So Teja, you were big on Rice. JD, you weren't not big on Rice, but you were just kind of questioning on how he would fit in Kansas City. I'm going to ask you both. So Teja, are you surprised? Are you surprised in the way he's kind of produced this year? And JD, what are you most surprised about for the way he has produced based on what you were feeling pre-draft when with his fit in this offense?
I'm not surprised. I'm going to say a little both, right? I'm not surprised in what he's done because we didn't replace Juju. He was a Juju replacement. So if you're going into the season saying Juju got this many targets, we said this, where are they going to go? We looked at the receivers before the season started. We were like, all right, we got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. There's either going to be some bad years from these guys or one of these guys is going to blow up. He's going to have to or we're going to have a bad year for receivers. A little bit of both. Rice is blowing up, but it's been a bad year for everyone else. What I'm surprised about is how much we needed him to ascend this quickly. Not fair to him to have to assume the number 1 receiver role on a team that already had a really, 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 really good offense. But it's played out that way, and he's stepped into it, and he's turned into that guy that we need him to be.
Yeah, I think I'm somewhat surprised. I'm surprised that, and it is kind of both, Teja. I agree with you that he got thrusted into this position unknowingly because you were hoping that Kadarius Toney was going to be the guy and Rashod Rice was going to be, the guy that was going to come and reinforce what you had as far as offensively. But now he comes in and all of a sudden he's doing a tremendous job catching the football and doing well. So I was just I'm very pleased to see that he's doing that. Him just taking on that role because nobody else stepped up. That was it. He was almost forced into it.
Yeah,
right. It's almost like kids that raise their young siblings. It's like, well, my parents ain't home, so I've been thrust in this position to almost raise the kids, right? And so that's what ended up happening with him. And so I love that he's come and he's kind of adopted that role and he's embraced it, and we're riding him. But that also shows that there's a lot of work that he needs to do. There's still a lot of stuff that he needs to get better at, and I do see that. But it is unfortunate because other guys just didn't step up that he's thrust into this role.
Yeah.
But he's taken everything with a stride, and he has surpassed what I thought he was going to do his rookie year. Let me put it that way. So it was good. It was good. It's good pick for us.
It's cliche, but when they say the perfect fit for them, he really was the perfect fit for us. And we're lucky we got him because, as they said, I watched a lot of the PFF going into it, a lot of PFF analysis on the. There wasn't a lot of big guys. This draft was very, very small guy heavy. A lot of them. You look at all of them. I mean, like Ninjigba, Addison, Tank Dell. Most of them were like smaller guys, right? Quinn Johnston was one of the better big guys. Mm-hmm. We've seen he hasn't been what they've hoped him to be so far. But then you look at Rice, and it was just like he was just a perfect fit for us. He played great backyard football ball. He was good at finding soft zones. He was great at catching pretty much uncatchable balls, and he caught that low one. That was a tough catch.
good.
That wasn't
Yeah.
easy to catch. He tracked it and the didn't touch the ground. I love that one where he kind of whipped his head around real fast to see where the guys were and thought it was the perfect place for Pat to hit him. Hit it. So like he's just growing and learning by the week. It's just great to see him adjust and give him more. I know we all want to see him do more too. I'd love to see him do more, but he's slowly taking it on. And good for the Chiefs for still giving him a lot of targets without overloading him too much on what else would they need. Because obviously they want to be like, all right, maybe next year we're going to give you a lot more deeper routes and bring them a little deeper into your progression. But, route tree wasn't his like specialty. But I remember all the reports that he had the potential to grow on that route tree a lot more.
Okay. Well, that's the reason I think I was more adamant about bringing those guys like the Tank Dell and the Dows and all those smaller receivers because it fit more of what we did scheme wise.
Mm-hmm.
We are a smaller wide receiver offense. I mean, that's what we are. And so like Tank Dell and those guys made sense to me, a lot of sense.
Yeah,
that's why I said like finding him because I didn't see the quick twitch in him like I do see like those guys. But his explosiveness and his yards at the catch, man, was really impressive.
He's
been
a tank
impressive
too. He's a tank.
Yeah, he's
body.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He just plows into you. It's funny too because if you were to tell, not counting Rashid Rice, if you told like Veach and the staff how bad like KT and Sky Moore were performing, they probably would have gone for a Tank Dell in the draft.
Yeah.
But they got Rice. They got Rice because they were expecting us to have our small guy between Sky or KT. They're like, okay, we got our small guy. We got our, middle of the field Kelsey. We need a kind of a juju guy now. So Ray Rice was like perfect for that. But
Rashid Rice.
I said it again. God
damn. just making sure, we're not confusing anything.
I'm not a Baltimore fan, okay? That's me just playing too much fantasy over the years and too many guys being in my head.
But all right, guys. Well, that does it for us. So tomorrow night, JD and I will be on 7 p.m. our live stream for our grade show, breaking down this victory. That hopefully, hopefully this can kind of keep us rolling into next week. We play the Raiders on Christmas Day. So yeah, so tomorrow night, JD will not be on at 7 p.m. Wednesday we'll be on Bleacher Report at noon for our midweek show. And then Friday we'll have our betting show, and we'll keep on rocking, guys. Great to have everybody engaged in the comments, and hopefully everyone we can roll this thing out and continue on a little winning streak going into the playoffs.
That's right. Let's do it.
Yeah. They did a good job calling the game too. It was a much better game, I think, offensively, trying to call the game somewhat. That creativeness down there in the red zone, we didn't talk about that. But the first touchdown with Patrick Mahomes in the backfield in the 3-point stance, I thought that was pretty. That
was cool. That was cool.
It was.
And by the way, watching other games on other TVs that we have. They're starting to call offsides a lot more on offense this week.
Hey, listen,
I
said this. Well, I said this, and I made this point on Twitter, Teja, and I tagged RG3, and I said, what's going to end up happening? We're going to lose that warning. That's what's going to happen. They're going to call it every time now, from here on out. So there's no ambiguity. They're going to say, anytime we see it, we're going to call it. Okay? So congratulations. We've made it where now the refs are on top of every little call, and they can be calling nitpicky stuff for the rest of the season. So,
you're welcome, rest of NFL.
Yeah,
there you go. What was it worth it to see the Chiefs lose in a game for the rest of the league to have to suffer through this now?
Yeah,
there you go.
All right, fellas. Well, we'll see you everybody on our channel tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for a Monday morning tight end with our guy, Jason Dunn. Love you, fellas.
Love you, fellas. Appreciate it, man. See y'all later.
Fantastic.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.